Hi, my name is Kirsten Winston, and my presentation is on Oedipus the King by Sophocles and the corresponding article, Kirk Fossil, Oedipus Crux. Sophocles' background. Sophocles was born in Colonus near the city of Athens, Greece in 496 BC. Sophocles' exact birth is unknown, but we do know he was born in Athens at the beginning of highest era called the Golden Age. He was born into a very wealthy family. Sophocles' father was a rich member of Dium, which was a rural and relatively small community. His father owned a business that most likely manufactured armor. Sophocles was a highly educated man. In his younger years, he won awards in wrestling and music. When he was 16, he was given an important musical award by a famous composer. Celebrating Athens' victory in the sea battle, Sophocles was chosen for the lead musical role because of his talent and beauty. Sophocles' background continued. Sophocles' playwright career began during his younger adulthood. In 468 BC, he won his first prize for his plays in his late 20s. Around 442 to 443 BCE, he served as the Athenian Empire as an imperial treasurer. Due to his accomplishments, he was elected a general again. Sophocles had many religious activities. He held service as a priest, and he offered his house up for worshipping the Greek god of medicine, Oedipus, until a temple was built. Sophocles had two sons named Lyphon and Sophocles by his wife Nausicaa. He only had one son by his second one, Ceres. At the age of 91, Sophocles died in 406 BC, and he had a full life full of accomplishments. Sophocles' literature context. As mentioned before, Sophocles started his playwright career during his younger years. He had written 125 tragedies, but only 7 of his famous tragedies survive. I've looked up where and why his tragedies there are only 125 left, and I couldn't really find anything, which is a bummer because I really wanted to know where his other 125 dramatic tragedies went. But Sophocles writes plays that involve themes that deal with relations between man and God. He shows how they react to certain problematic situations. The heroes in his plays are used to overcome various obstacles. He soon changed his style of writing of trilogies and started to write 3 plays with different plots. Sophocles back then was inspired by human nature and welfare. Literature context continued. As a writer, Sophocles sometimes imitated the style of Alcaeus by using an artificial style. Sophocles used this style that shows characters being most expressive. His works also presents his readers how his characters react under pressure and mental stress. He won 24 dramatic competitions with his tragedies. We would not understand the structure of human mentality and condition if it was not for Sophocles' different complex of works. Sophocles' literature conventions. Sophocles' tragedies plays are well written. He used an increasing amount of altered actors speaking in various parts in plays formed 2 to 3. Sophocles introduced us to chorus members in his plays, which is usually 12 or 15 members. There is a descriptive scenery and uses songs that are strikingly structured. He presents us with 3 plays with different subjects, and due to this, he creates a faster development of characters. Kirk Fossil background. Kirk Fossil written an article called Oedipus Crux. Kirk Fossil is a well-known professor at the University of California, Irvine. He emphasized in critical theory with a Ph.D. in English. In 1995, he joined the English department of LCS, where he teaches Victorian literature, British Romantic literature, literacy theory, and classical studies. Kirk Fossil's scholarly work focused on the British writers such as William Wordsworth. In 2012, Kirk Fossil recently written on representation of animals in Romantic era and literature paintings. There really wasn't much information on his context and background. This is much all I can find, and Oedipus Crux didn't really give much. But yeah. Topic of discussion 1. Kirk Fossil, corresponding article Oedipus Crux, argued that in Oedipus' defense, it could be clear about how many men were in the crossroads and who those men were. In Oedipus the King, Oedipus is reminded of a similar story in his past of killing men at a crossroad, and he is afraid he is the one who killed Laius. Josca's wife and others stated that there were about a group of 5 men that killed former King Laius. Kirk Fossil examines and starts to dissect how many men were at the crossroads from the different side points of each character and figuring out who they were. Well, Oedipus was met by 3 travelers, and there was an elderly man riding in the carriage and a herald and King Laius. Oedipus is uncertain about how many attendants went with King Laius' journey, but Josca states that there was only a herald and 1 carriage for the king. Well, the big question is, were there a few attendants wandering down another road, or was the queen mistaken? As well as were there 3 or 5 attendants with the king. In their luck, there was only 1 survivor, the attack, Sir Richard Jeff. Jeff states that he was struck on the head, King Laius as well as the driver, and 1 or 2 servants that were walking behind the carriage was slain. Kirk Fossil observed that the difference between each story is the number of people that were there. Topic of discussion 2. Kirk Fossil examines why King Laius' death was not investigated by creating a timeline on the events that occurred between Oedipus and King Laius. In Oedipus the King, nobody investigated the death of former King Laius. They went straight to trying to find another king for the city of Thebes. The order of events that occurred first was Laius' death, homicides, and Oedipus being crowned, and then the witness. Fossil stated that if Crean's explanation of the lack of investigation is true, there is a period of time that's gone from the initial word that King Laius is dead and the witness that showed. So therefore, Oedipus had to arrive the morning of King Laius' death. Well, Kirk found that Oedipus must have been traveling to Dalia or Great Thessaly when he encountered Laius' Delphi embassy at the crossroads. After Oedipus slayed Laius, he went to Thebes without knowing he just killed the king of Thebes. The only witness of King Laius' death went missing along enough time for the rumor of Laius' death to arrive. Topic of discussion 3. In Oedipus Crux, Fossil shows his concerns on why the messenger brings the adoption of Oedipus up and discovery that comes from his birth. The article explains how the messenger came to give Oedipus the news that he can come rule on Corinth because his father passed away. He then explains how Oedipus is adopted and how the messenger had handed to him from a shepherd and gives him to the king and queen of Corinth. The messenger comes to thank Oedipus. Due to this, the mystery starts to unravel, and they switch their attention from king death but to Oedipus' infancy and birth. Therefore, Oedipus finally starts to realize that Josca is his mother as well as his wife, and he killed his father. Topic of discussion 4. Fossil states that Sophocles leaves the reader's task to figure out which oracle to believe, either Apollo oracle, Creon, or Apollo seer, to be wrong. Well, Fossil believes that Apollo prophet is not correct due to the significant evidence. The evidence is that oracle accounts of regicide accords with the details offered by the eyewitness, whereas Trice's revelation does not. The question is, who could have learned about the incest if it is not from the gods? Kirk Fossil explains how they do not have any knowledge that this person is other than a professional. He could get his information from one minister to another. Topic of discussion 5. In Oedipus the Crux by Kirk Fossil, he explained how Oedipus is to be banished since he is one who killed his father, as well as becoming blind. With Tiresias blinding Oedipus, you would think he would be given a stick to hold onto, but he is given no stick nor staff. Yet the soothsayer only forces that Oedipus will only become blind, but not in the handiwork. In the end, the Kirk Fossil explains that Oedipus did not fulfill his prophecy, but he helped write the prophecy. And I definitely agree on this. I think him as well as Joseph wrote their own prophecy. Key term words. Epithet. An phrase expressing a quality characteristic of a person. Putative. Generally considered. Corroborating. Give support or confirm. Beleaguered. Lay siege to. Interpolate. Insert between 2 points. Exaggerate. A bad situation to make worse. Paragnon. A typical pattern, a model of something. Concomitance. Existing or occurring with someone else. This is my works cited page. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please ask and I will answer. Thank you.